Welcome back to Chapter 4, Task 4, Finding Solutions by Elimination. This is Part 2. We're going to go ahead and finish up example number 4. First of all, please just double check that you have rewritten the second equation, and it should read, if it doesn't already, 6x minus 7y equals negative 20. If you have that written down, we're good to go. In this example, please notice that the x's nor the y's are opposites. So we're going to have to make either the x's or the y's opposite. It's your personal choice, but I'm just going to go ahead and do what comes first. Since the x's are lined up first, I'm going to make my x's opposite. And to do that, I'm just going to multiply them by each other. So in this whole row, I'm going to multiply everything by 6. And in this whole row, I'm going to multiply everything by 4. But before we get started, remember, I want opposites. So I need one of the two to be negatives. So I'm just going to throw in a negative with my first one. So I'm actually going to multiply everything in the first row by negative 6. And you'll see what happens in just a second. So negative 6 times positive 4x gives us a negative 24x. Negative 6x times positive 5y gives us a negative 30y equals negative 6 times a positive 6 gives us a negative 36. Remember, please to multiply everything in the row by that number. So we're going to go now to our second change, and we're going to multiply everything in the second row by 4. Again, the key word here is everything. So let's do 4 times 6, and that gives us a positive 24x. 4 times negative 7y, that gives us a negative 28y equals 4 times negative 20, and that gives us a negative 80. We're now just going to double check that everything is lined up before we add. Our x's are lined up, our y's are lined up, and our constants are lined up. And now, since we threw that negative in, we did make opposites here. We have negative 24x and positive 24x. So we can go ahead and slash them out. We're going to add everything else. So we're going to add negative 30 plus negative 28. You should get negative 58y. And then negative 36 plus a negative 80 gives us 116. We're down to a two-stepper. Divide both sides by negative 58. And for y, you should get a positive 2. I'm going to go ahead and fill out what I know. I know that our second slot of our coordinate pair will be 2, because that is in the y position. So we're going to, just like we did on the front page, we're going to substitute the 2 in for either equation. And it's your choice. I'm just going to use the top equation, original, because I don't see any negatives. And that seems to be a little easier. So I'm going to rewrite everything except for the y. So I'm going to write 4x plus 5, leave a space, and that equals 6. I'm going to double check up here that I wrote that correctly. 4x plus 5y equals 6. Perfect. The 2 goes in my space for the y. We're going to go ahead and solve. I multiply these two together. 5 times 2 is 10. Take the 10 to the other side. Running out of room here. And then we're down to divide by 4 on both sides. See x equals negative 1. Found my last part. I'm going to plug it in here. Negative 1, positive 2 is our final answer.